this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make HDR images in Adobe Lightroom. Now, you've probably seen HDR on your phone camera. You might turn it on, might turn it off. Sometimes it makes a difference in your image, and sometimes it doesn't seem to. I'll explain why that is. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. Basically, what it does is it takes multiple images at different exposures and then brings them all together to make one image where all your highlights and all your shadows are brought in. So you can see I did a 5-image series here. You can do it with 3, you can do it with 2, you can do it with 7, you can do it with 14. But normally 5 or 3 should be enough to bring everything together. In this case I chose 5 because I had a really high dynamic range scene. That means the difference between my darkest black and my brightest white is really great. So I started here where I got a good exposure for this darker shadowy area among the rocks, and then I would walk it down one step at a time until my exposure on the sky, which is my brightest part, is good enough for my liking. Now, there's still some highlights here, but I think that looks natural. Just like over here, there's still some dark shadows in the cave, but I think that looks natural too. Sometimes HDR can go a little bit too far and look kind of unreal, but you can do some tweaking with that. There's other software that'll work for that, and Lightroom will do a pretty good job as well. So let me get to some of those options. The way you'll do that is you select all your images, and you right click, and you go to Photo Merge, choose HDR, and then this will build a preview for you of what your HDR image is going to look like. Now currently I have auto align turned off because I don't need it for the way that this image is going to work, but that will bring your images together. When I choose it to be on, then it kind of crops my image in, so I'm leaving it off. But if you have any rotation issues at the edge of your image where things are getting blurred or messed up towards the outsides, just turn it on and it'll fix that for you. I've also checked auto settings on because in my case I like what the program is automatically doing for my settings. If I choose it off, then it doesn't really have as much visible areas in the shadows and the highlights. But this is just tweaks that are happening in your basic panel, and so you can do that on your own as well, or just use this as a starting point and then edit from there. Now the next thing to look at is deghosting. Basically, when you have an HDR scene where things are moving or the camera's moving, then things will be repeated, and when you overlay the images, things will be in 2 spots, and these are algorithms that will stop that from being the case. So if you look at none, my image is kind of messed up. You can see these pink areas happened over here for some reason. You've got some lines being traced on here. If you look at low, this is like to walk it one step at a time to keep it as low as possible. Because for each step of deghosting, you add a little bit more smoothing and you lose a little bit of something from the image. But from here, I've got some really weird shadows in here. So I'm going to move it to medium and see if it fixes them. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite do it. So then I move to high. My image looks natural. And it looks pretty good for me, so I'm going to leave it there. And create stack, all that's going to do is mush these images together into one little spot where it gets condensed in your viewer. Now I'm in a separate collection for HDR in this case, so I don't care about conserving space. I'm going to leave that off. And from here I can merge my image. I've already done that for you. And so here it is again. You can see my completed image where I've brought the bright highlights in the sky down to a very visible tone, and I've brought the shadows from this rocky area up as well, so you can see them both in one clear image. That's all I've got for you for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.